everyone, welcome to another video of Alex's Fishing. We're here in Sydney once again and we're in the middle of the mangroves chasing either bream, flathead, trevally, jewfish, salmon, you never know. We've come across this spot a few times now and caught some good fish, from big flathead to big bream, and been smoked a few times as well, along with seeing salmon busting up on these little jelly prawns that we can see swimming in the water. Because they're feeding on jelly prawns, we're going to be using something tiny, so I'll quickly pop the camera down and show you guys what I'm using. This is the Zman 2-inch grub in motor oil colour, just because of that UV enhancement. That's why I'm using that one. And the rod I'm using is a Shimano Poison Adrena ultralight, so it's 6'8", perfect for these undercover mangrove areas. And also I've got a Shimano Exsence 3000 reel spooled with 8-pound braid, and I've got 6-pound Fluorocarbon Leader. Fluorocarbon Leader is a must with braid, and I'm running 6-pound because I want to fish light for these bream. So stay tuned everyone, hopefully we can get onto a few fish. It's nice and brisk this morning, as you can see my breath. So fingers crossed we get onto some fish. Stay tuned. Alright, got the Zman grub on. First cast of the morning. Pop it right on the other side there. There's a few snags on the bottom, which we sort of cleared most of them by hooking up to them and pulling them in. But for a spot like this, it's surprisingly clear on the bottom, which is why we've been getting flatties as well. I'm just letting it hit the bottom, and with braid you can see it go slack when it hits the bottom, and then just giving it a couple of twitches, letting it sink back down. What that's doing is imitating those tiny bait fish or prawns on the bottom when they flick up and go back down to the bottom, just like they're fleeing or they're injured. Oh, there's a bait fish shower right there, which means the salmon could be around. That's what they were doing earlier. And you could see big swirls every time those jelly prawns showered. Well, it's been very surprisingly slow this morning, so this is going to be my last cast, and we'll come back to this spot later. I'll try fish a few other spots and see if it produces fish, and then we'll come back when the tide drops a little bit. So currently it's rising a fair bit, so maybe the salmon, or there's maybe jewfish in the area that's just spooked everything else. Who knows, there could be even bull sharks. But I've had no inquiries, which is very unusual for this spot. I'll see you guys when I'm back. Alright, we're back at this spot again. The other spot I tried, I got a bunch of whiting, bream and a flathead, but it was a long walk, and it's been a couple of hours. So giving this spot a break. Tide's still quite high, but it's running out now, whereas before it was running in. Got the Squidgy Tough Wriggler in a bloodworm colour, so I've swapped it out from the 2-inch Zman grub. First cast back at this spot. Let's see what it can produce. It's nice and deep in front of us too. I reckon it's at least 2.5 meters, which is fairly deep for a creek like this. It's very narrow. Oh my god, salmon just chased it up. Did you see the size of that thing? Holy crap. I'm not sure if you guys saw that. Solid salmon. And that's what's been chasing all this bait. See all the jelly prawns in the water. You can see them jump here and there. Our first cast, they got my heart racing. Ooh, that was a hit. I struck that really hard. Whoops. Oh, not again. Getting a hit right under those mangroves there. But it's like a vibration hit almost, which is what the whiting feel like. So could have been another big whiting. No, nothing's interested. It's good to chop and change your retrieve just to see what's out there. I'm going back to a slow retrieve, just hopping it along the bottom. This one's probably the most generic retrieve because, there we go, hooked up. As I was saying, chopping and changing. I wonder what this is. It's got a bit of weight to him. Oh, it's a good brim. Oh, nice. Oh, there's a salmon. You see that swell there? I just saw the salmon come up and have a go at some bait fish. So I reckon this brim's actually attracting the salmon because it thinks there's a feeding frenzy going on. There we go. There's that nice yellowfin brim on the Squidgy Biotuft, pinned right in the corner of the jaw. There we go. Back you go. Look at the water, it's nice and clear but murky at the same time. So just look at the drop off right next to the edge here. We've hooked a few flatties literally a metre in front of us, as well as brim and whiting. So we'll keep casting, see what else we can produce. I just dropped my reel in the bloody water. So there's a lot of mud on it. Look at that, how gross. Got to give it a good freshwater clean when I get back. There we go. Hooked up again. Ooh, it's a flatty, I reckon. Oh, what is that? Oh my god, I got one of the salmon. I've got one of the salmon. This one's a smaller model though. Yes. I was wondering what it was. Oh, look at that. A mangrove salmon. Finally. Hopefully he doesn't smoke me on anything. He's fighting weird. Look at that. He's engulfed it too. Whoa. There we go. Salmon are known for doing these massive jumps. How sick is that? Look at him go. Far out. Oi. Not a bad size salmon either. Look at him jump. Far out. Ready? There he goes again. I could literally just beach him, I reckon. Come on, buddy. There we go. Oh. Look at that. For a mangrove salmon. It's actually got one eye, which is probably why it's feeding in the mangroves, because it's actually handicapped. You can see that its eye's missing, or it's got cat eye syndrome, and on the other side it's got a clear view eye. But there we go. That was one of them that we saw. I've seen a few bigger models in here, but there's been a school kicking around and this guy managed to pick it up off the bottom. There we go. Back you go. Gone. straight back to the depth. Wow, that put up an awesome tussle. It's about time we hooked up to one of those salmon. They've been taunting us for about 3 weeks now. And that one was right in the depth as well. So I reckon because the tide's running out, they're just on the bottom, swimming against the current. Let's just hope there's bream and flathead as well. Oh, there we go. Hooked up again. What is this? Oh, that's got some weight. What is that? Oh, it's a little bream. Why did you fight so hard, buddy? It's not a bad bream. I said little, but he'd be about 28 centimeters, 25 centimeters. There we go, nice healthy yellowfin bream. Straight out. Very silver in coloration too. And yellowfin bream have the black tips on the tail, and they look slightly different to the black bream we get back home. Back you go. Taunt some more bait fish. Straight under the mangrove. See if we can produce another fish. If I hook up on this cast, it'll be a hat trick. It's crazy how different tides produce different fish. And it's just different feeding patterns for these fish. Oh, there we go. Hat trick. What's this? Another bream. How is that? 3 fish, 3 casts. There we go, another bream. About the same size. A bit musclier, this fish. For some reason, yellowfin bream are just more feisty when you're holding them. You feel the muscle throughout the whole body, whereas black bream, they're very placid when you hold them. So look at that. Another nice little yellowfin. So yeah, 3 fish, 3 casts. All right, 4th cast. Let's try another zone. Right over there. Be funny if we caught a flathead too. See how the water's moving this way? My lure's also moving this way. So a lot of fish will be sitting facing the current on the bottom. Yep. Oh, just missed a hook up under those mangroves. See if we can produce another fish under there. Yep. Whoa, whoa. What have I hooked? What have I hooked? Oh, it's right under me. Oh, it's a flatty. Yes. It's not that big, but that first run was solid. Get in. There we go. Straight in the mud. Look how camouflaged it looks with the mud. There we go, another species ticked off the list. Let me give him a wash. Nice dusky flathead. So the ones we get back home in South Australia, they're blue spot flathead. Hooked straight out like that. Once again on the little Wriggler. There we go, that's what a dusky does to your fingers. Shreds them if you don't have gloves. He's completely shredded my thumb up. But that one's about 45 centimeters, 40 centimeters I reckon. Not huge by all means. We have caught bigger here, but it's a nice solid little dusky. Back you go, fella. Look at that camouflage. And he's got me good on that thumb. There's a piece of skin flapping off now. Always make that mistake. Never learn my lesson, do I? Well, that's another species ticked off in this creek. Next up, a yellowfin whiting or a silver trevally. Or, you know what would be even better? A jewfish. Every time I fish with plastics, every few casts, just make sure your plastic is nice and straight, because sometimes it can make the lure swim wonky, and a lot of the time that can deter whether you get a bite or not. Fish will see it and they'll think it's got some sort of disease and they won't touch it. And that's my thought anyways. So I always like my lure to swim straight. Oh, there we go. Oh, pulled hooks. What was that? Try again. Wow, so I just hooked up to this tiny little thing there. That is what they're feeding on. That's a little jelly prawn. So I believe jelly prawn are a type of shrimp. Just check out how small it is. So that's pretty much what they're feeding on. Crazy. And there's just schools of them up along the edge here. So main food source is that. That's what you want to imitate in these mangroves here. Ooh, there we go. Hooked up again. Oh, solid flatty. A very solid flatty. He's just sticking down to the bottom now. Look at the size of that. Oh! He just bit me off. Oh, you're kidding. I knew I should have retied after that salmon. But not sure if you guys saw that. That flatty would have been a good 55 centimeters. Well then, time to retie. Alright, so we're back at it again after I lost that flatty. You know why I reckon that flatty was sitting there as well? It's because there's a little creek here running out, and it was just feeding off all the nutrients and bait fish coming out from that little creek. So hopefully where there's one, there's more. Oh, there we go. That didn't take too long. I wonder what this is. Ah, little flatty. like I was just saying, where there's one, there's more. This one isn't too little, but it's nowhere near the size of the one I lost. There we go. Another nice creek flatty. On the Paddletail this time. He's about 45 centimeters, I reckon, this one. Nice strong release there. Alright, one more cast in this spot and then we'll head up a little bit further. Hooked up again. It looks like another flatty. Not bad. About the same size as the last one. Well, the last one we landed. Get up. There we go. Another nice solid flatty. Look at that. Hook wasn't even in properly. But there we go. Another one around that 40 to 45 centimeters. Awesome. Back you go. Well guys, we had a solid little session there, and it's time for work. Hooked up to a few flathead and salmon and a couple of bream. So we were using that Squidgy. I was using a Squidgy Tough Wriggler before, and then hooked a flatty on this Paddletail one, and I've got the nice ultralight set up there. So that's all you really need for mangrove fishing like this, unless you're chasing bigger fish. But it's all in good fun. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.